Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the home team with Troy and Wyatt, where we bring sports and money together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say today, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, you can reach out to Wyatt.
I thought it was the Wyatt.
The Wyatt.
Okay.
And he's on the Facebook, which is the home team 512. All right, and this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing your right, not mine.
Yeah.
Because it's your dream.
It's just mine.
It's your dream.
Okay.
It's mine.
We've already decided that your dream's over with.
Yeah,
You got too many kids. No, you've already achieved everything. It's already.
Yeah.
So you're just working for other people's dreams now, right? Yours have since passed.
I'm dead inside.
Just playing.
Yeah. No, but this is kind of like what I think is very important is that, unfortunately, growing up in America, the one thing that we don't do is teach people how to handle money. We just don't. Back in the day, when I say the day, I don't want to age myself, but 70s, 80s, or whatever. In high school, they had classes that taught you how to invest in the stock market and balance checkbooks.
In the 50s?
70s, 80s.
Oh.
Like early 80s.
Okay.
But whatever. And but nowadays, they don't even discuss it.
Well, you get it off TikTok within 10 seconds on what you're supposed to do with your money, right?
Yeah. And so I think this is very important. And, so we have brought on someone who I think is going to show you an amazing way to invest your money and make your money earn money.
And he's doing it himself, so it's tried and true. He's doing it himself and coaching other people how to do it as well. So I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more.
Absolutely. So we'd like to introduce Dylan Haines. Now you may know him as this super real estate expert. I actually have followed him years before as one of the mighty Longhorns, So
the mighty Longhorns.
That's right.
One of the day one fans. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The guy that goes out there 30 degrees or 10 losses or
That's
whatever.
right.
It doesn't matter. He's there.
We were sitting here, talking. And it's like, and he's kind of like, and I'm like, well, I remember your first touchdown. Wasn't it like almost a pick six from the 28-yard line? He's like, he looks at me like, okay, you're weird.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I didn't even know what yard line it was.
Yeah,
you got that right on the nail.
Yeah, it was, so it's just funny. You just remember those things. But so this is money, and what's important about money is that if you don't have it, you can still make it. One of the things very important, interest rates affect the monthly payment of a home. Right. So they're important, and right now they are higher than they've been in a long time, but they're not as high as they were a few months ago, and they are definitely trending down.
People are getting used to it. It was a shock when you go from 2% to 20%.
And like I said,
it seemed like.
Well, when you go from 3% to 6%, it's painful. When you go from 8% to 6%, you're like, oh. And that's kind of what just happened.
It's like they did it on purpose, right? Like, we got to really stick it to them. So when we come back and settle at 5, they're like, oh, that's a good rate.
Yeah, and so the problem with rates coming down is that currently in the greater Austin area, we only have 2.7 months of inventory. And we've already talked about how, 30% of that is to be built and don't even count. So we're really, 2 months or less of actual, I can go buy a home today inventory. And the rates are high.
And then all of a sudden the rates come down to 5. Good luck.
Yeah, and then you've got to fight over homes and everything else just like before. Yeah. So my opinion is to get something now, and then refinance when the rates come lower because your payment will come down. The value is set. Because once you start fighting, we've already proven in the Austin area, when people want to buy a home, they're just gonna beat you to death with money.
It's 75. In some cases it was $250,000 over asking price in some of your larger homes. Yeah. And we talked at one time. Someone put down that in contention of buying their home, they wanted a vacation to Mexico. Remember that in MLS?
That was in MLS.
It was a Cabo for 2 or something like that.
I should try to negotiate.
It was legitimately it was actually within the offer. Like, that's part of it if you want the house. So.
Absolutely. So. That's definitely something you need to think about this summer. So, the issue I think with traditional renting is that you don't really for one thing somebody that lives in your home for a year doesn't take good care of it as somebody that lives into it for a week, 10 days, because for some reason I take better care of a hotel than I do my own house. I don't know why. And so I think the short-term rental is something that is growing and growing and growing, especially in this area. Is that something you have a lot of experience in?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the appeal with the whole short-term rental, right, Airbnb, VRBO type property is not just the cash flow, right? Because obviously traditionally real estate investing, there's something called the 1% rule, and you might get house for $300,000 that would rent for $3,000 a month, right? If you want something in Austin that rents for $3,000 a month, you're spending maybe 700 grand now.
Yeah.
So the cash flow is just not there anymore for traditional 12-month investors. If investors are buying homes, they're buying them hoping that they'll appreciate, and it's an equity play, right? They're hoping they'll see some capital appreciation, they'll sell, and they'll get their equity out. But most investors buying traditional buy and holds are just they're maybe losing a couple $100 a month, right? So with Airbnb and VRBO in the short-term rental market, the revenue can be double to triple that just because you're getting people for shorter stays, much like a hotel. But you're right. I mean, people are taking better care of those properties. I mean, you have to think, mine probably does 10, 11 stays a month. So that's 10, 11 times a maid is coming in there and doing the laundry and washing the floors. And your traditional tenant's just not going to do make
And keeping an eye on the property, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And they're taking inventory within the property.
Exactly, and I have the freedom to go in between stays and kind of check up on the property and make sure nothing's damaged, and because you see some of those cases with traditional 12 months, you don't see the property for a whole year. You go back and walls are painted different colors. There's graffiti.
If there's a wall there at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's definitely a great market to get into. Now, granted, the last few years it's become really oversaturated. It's become very competitive. Some of the people that got in really early are making a killing. But I just bought mine last April, and it's doing really, really well.
Nice.
I mean, as far as traditional investment terms, people like to use a cap rate, right? Mine's operating at around a 13-14%, which is pretty good, right? Especially in the city of Austin.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
right.
So it's not doing too bad.
Right, and again, it's one of those things that if you want to change it up, you also have options, right? If you want to go to month to month, or if it's not working out for you in management, or you don't like the management company, you can lease it out for a year or sell it. I mean, there's so many different exits.
Right, or you can outsource management, right?
Right.
I manage mine myself just because I'm a real estate guy and I kind of know the business and I know what property management should look like. And I'm a control freak, so I want to make sure everything's done right. My mom always said, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Sure.
But you can outsource management. You can pay someone 15-20% to manage it for you and still have the return you want. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well. So, how do people get a hold of you? Because I know you just perked some ears up. How do people get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is my cell phone. You can call or text me. It's 512-633-0864.
All right.
They can also just Google your name.
Yeah, if you type in Dylan Haines real estate, I'm sure you'll find my number in there somewhere.
Yeah. Plus some maybe some Longhorn stats in there as well. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing is, there's misinformation about the mortgages. There's also misinformation about short-term rentals. So a lot of people think you can't do it in Austin, but you can. You just have to follow rules. What are the things they need to know if they're looking for something in the greater Austin?
Right, so that's a question I get a lot, right, is I want to invest in short-term renting, but I hear the city of Austin is not issuing permits anymore, and they're not. For single-family renters or single-family homes that are investor-owned, you cannot get a permit, meaning if I was an investor and I wanted to buy a single-family home and rent it on Airbnb, I could not do that. Okay. If I bought it as a primary home, meaning I bought it was going to be my primary home, I had no other primary home loans out, I was going to move in, you can then get what's called the Type 1 permit, which is an owner-occupied permit, meaning I could live there full-time, but, let's say I travel a lot and I'm gone for a couple months. When I'm gone, I can put it on Airbnb and I can rent it out short-term, but it has to be my primary residence. The other way you can do it is by buying a multifamily unit, a condo, a duplex, something like that. That's a Type 3 permit, right? So that's what mine is. Mine is a condo unit. It's a 1 of 4 in a building in the Zilker Park area. Okay. And so that's how I was able to get mine. So if you think, multifamily, condo, duplex, triplex, fourplex, or if it's your primary home and maybe you do a lot of traveling or maybe you're just not there sometimes, or I know some people in Zilker Park that live there full time, but during South by Southwest or ACL, they just move out. They go get a hotel. I mean, they can get $2, $3, $4 a night for 2 weeks. Yeah. Why not do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, in that, plus you got to think CODA comes in.
Yeah, F1 is actually the biggest.
Well, it's the biggest in the world.
Exactly.
I didn't realize that F1 makes more, like 6 times more money than the NFL does.
Yeah, the amount of private
than the Super Bowl, rather.
The amount of private jets in Austin during that weekend is pretty something to see.
Yeah, obviously, I should have learned to drive faster.
Well, I need to lose weight because those guys are the size of jockeys. Have you been? They're small dudes. My size, it's out of my. I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah, so, any aspirations to be an F1 driver?
No.
I think you have to be like 105 pounds.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did enough damage to my body playing football.
The
idea of going 200 miles an hour and possibly exploding.
No, not your thing.
I'm gonna stick to real estate.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. I think real estate is probably the best industry to be in because you get out of it what you put into it, and so that's why I love it. But yes,
One more time, what's your phone number?
512-633-0864.
If I was you, I'd give him a call. He's known throughout to be a good realtor, honest, knowledgeable. So again, you work with investors, buyers, and sellers.
Yeah, I do everything. So like I said, I was born and raised here. I've sold up in Georgetown. I've gone down to New Braunfels. I've done farm and ranch out in McDade. I've done anything and everything you can think of. I've probably helped someone with it. I do a lot of work with buyers, a lot of work with sellers and investors. I helped someone last year from Hong Kong that lives in Hong Kong buy an investment property in Austin.
That's great.
I was on Zoom with them at 10, 11 p.m. because it's 8 a.m. there every night.
So you speak Mandarin?
No, I
I
know.
mean,
No, they
Luckily, they spoke English.
I was just
Yeah,
I was
no
just like,
translator
I was
was
like,
needed.
throw that onto the resume too.
But I was ready. I had Google Translate on
Did
my
you?
phone. I
Did
was
you really?
ready to. I was ready to help and service anyone I needed.
That's
to.
awesome. That's awesome.
and those are the sort of things is what makes people successful. Going that extra mile, and the Zoom video conference and buying a home, that's being done all the time now.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, it's normal now.
Yeah, I mean, it just blows me away because I can't do it. I can barely do anything on my phone, and there are people buying homes with their camera, walking through a house on the phone. I can't do it.
Amazing times, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm the old guy now.
You are the old guy. Well, I am too. I say it like I'm not the old guy either. I think you have just a couple years on me.
So definitely reach out to Dylan if you want the younger, more tech savvy, position on purchasing a home. Hey, you've been listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. We hope you've enjoyed what you've heard today. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment was brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing your American dream. See you in just a minute.
Boom. Good job. Let me get a picture.